Today's video, we're going to talk about what to focus on with this new content that's coming out. We have White Shadow Castle on EU, and we have the Vampire Hunters coming tomorrow on global servers and NA, finally. And I'm going to talk about some monsters to focus on building for White Shadow Castle. If you like all my videos and like my content, hit the sub button, hit the like button, hit that bell dingy thing so you know when I post a video. Let's go, baby. Tip of the day. A lot of people have asked me what to do with their restore stones. Once they replace someone from the Holy Trinity, should they use a restore stone on those 3-star monsters? The answer is no. 3-star monsters are so easy to build. The amount of materials that you would get from restoring a 3-star monster is not valuable enough for that restore stone. And if anything, you're going to get like maybe 1 awakening out of a natural 5-star unit from restoring a 3-star monster. Only use restore stones on 5-star monsters. Now we get these restore stones monthly and through events and random stuff. So if you do have a bunch of them, like over like 6 or 8 or whatever, like I said, only use them on 5-star monsters. However, it is okay to use them on 4-star monsters only if you have a bunch. The more you know. Alright, for North America and global servers, we have a new monster coming tomorrow, Thursday, March 23rd. These are the Vampire Hunters. You may know them as the Bounty Hunters from Sky Arena, but the transmogged version. Now, if we go by the Korean server skills for these monsters, which I assume they're going to be the same, then we can kind of rate these monsters to determine what you would want. But just because the skills on the Korean server are what they are does not mean that they're going to be what these are coming. Honestly, you cannot assume, because that makes, out of you and me. However, due to the keywords that's given in the spotlight, I can kind of tell you what they're going to do. Fire Vampire Hunter is going to be your PvE unit. He has an amazing passive. He's more of like a ramp up unit. When his HP gets destroyed to a certain percent, then he gets a ton of crazy buffs. He also has damage drain on his second skill. One of his skills are also based off of his attack speed. So you want to build him with high attack speed, but obviously crit damage and attack. Water is your PvP unit. Every skill he has removes a beneficial effect. And when he removes a beneficial effect, he does extra damage from his passive. Not to forget that Water Vampire's passive also has a 30% crit rate. 30% crit rate buff to himself. Build him 70% crit rate and just go to town on attack and crit damage. He was a top tier unit on the Korea server. Will he be here? I'm thinking yes. We have the Condom Cleave metas with all the buffs and immunity, etc, etc. If you need a really good damage dealer for PvP, or you need a buff stripper for the enemy, even for PvE, Water Vampire would be the summon for you. Now with Wind Vampire Hunter, we may get him in the monster story for free. He is your burst soul link monster. This could be for PvP or it could be for like speed dungeons. His second skill uses all the mana you have and does extra damage for the more mana you use off that skill, the multiplier is higher. So for example, in PvE, if you're trying to do that quick speed dungeon run, right from the start he would use all your mana, hopefully do a ton of damage and kill the boss dungeon. Or in PvP, on offense or brawl, if you're going with a YOLO kill him first comp. On manual, you save all your mana until your main target has a defense break, and then you use Wind Vampire's skill and use all your mana and hopefully one-shot that guy. Light and Dark I won't talk about too much, but Light Vampire is going to be your PvP monster, and Dark Vampire is a better version of Fire for PvE. So again, really it's up to you who you want to go for if you plan on summoning on this banner. If you're summoning on these banners, good luck. Now the new raid White Shadow Castle, it's coming out tomorrow. I do have a video on it already, and it's the only video that I don't have a hoodie on. But if you need a guide on how to beat it, it's still accurate, it's still up to date. I'll leave a link to the guide at the end of this video and also in the description below. It's super simple. Attack the boss, don't stand in red stuff. When the arm comes up, switch to the arm, kill the arm, go back to the boss, rinse and repeat. Defense break is huge. If you have the penalty going into the dungeon or you have slightly hard giggity, you can go into the dungeon with your best 3 monsters in power level. And you can have the bonus going in, but then switch to the monsters you want when you're inside the dungeon. You will still have the bonus regardless of what your power level changes to. But this bald dude goes into much detail on how to do it. It's very simple. Now, what monsters should you be focusing on for White Shadow Castle? It depends on your summoner, obviously, like everything does. Now, to get the bonus, it's 292,000 power level. You can go in with slightly hard, giggity again, but if you do that in random pugs, you're going to get kicked. So I suggest getting some friends and guildies if you can't get over the bonus. But let's talk about mechanics wise and monsters for you to beat the raid. There's a lot of debuffs you can put on: damage taken up, crit damage taken up, blah 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 blah. One of the main biggest things you need is defense break. If someone on your raid does not have a defense break, it's going to be harder for you. You also need some healers in the raid and some supports, like a shield will be nice, a Bastet, Water Desert Queen event, hello, and some attack buff for your raid. Let's talk about some 3-star units first. With 3-star units, it's hard to get their power level high. Now, most of you may have built the Holy Trinity, but for power level this point in the game, early game, to get a good power level, you're probably going to need at least like 1 5-star unit max skilled, maybe 1 4-star unit max skilled for sure, and a 3-star unit max skilled. 3-star unit probably has to be max awakened, maybe the 4-star unit too, and the 5-star unit maybe to like 8 or 9 or whatever. But let's talk about the 3-star units you could bring. One good one would be Shannon. Attack buff, defense break, attack down. Shannon's just good for a long time. Also, we got Dark Harpy Helia. She's got the defense break and the damage taken up debuffs. For a healer, Konamiya, obviously. You go with Tian as well. But due to the power level capping, it's going to be very hard to just go in with all 3 stars. So this is where 4 stars come into play. Some good 4 stars to use, obviously Wind Marshal Cat Naomi, a staple early game. Water Howl Lulu, one of the handful of good healers for 4-star units, if you don't have a natural 5-star healer. Has AoE heal on his 2nd skill, which also does a cleanse, and his 1st skill has a single target heal, which gives defense up. This heals Lulu and the target. Fireheart Rukuni is really good for Orbia. I really wouldn't use it on any of the other summoners for White Shadow Castle, but for White Shadow Castle, I was using like Tian, Rukuni, and Bastet on the North America server, and I could get the bonus and I was topping the damage meter, just because of the skill acceleration and skill cooldown from Rukuni plus Tian's skill cooldown. You also have Fire Pecan Priest Chloe. She's a good AoE healer and AoE support with invincibility. Light and Dark 4 stars if you have them. Obviously, Light Howl Shushu, one of the best 4-star healers. You could use Lulu or Shushu to all content in the future as well. AoE heal with AoE immunity, removes dots, which will be great in Naraka the next raid, and Twisted Marsh. And like Lulu, heals himself and a target and applies recovery given up. If for some reason you don't have Wind Marshal Cat, you can go Light Amazon Lin, a good boss damage dealer, or someone I've been giving a little bit more love to recently, and that's Light Cowgirl Lauren. Every basic attack and every skill has a chance to apply defense down. She can remove beneficial effects, which is good in other places, not White Shadow Castle. Also applies unrecoverable. She's really good in Light Shrekly Special Expedition. Has a level 1 attack speed down. These are a ton of debuffs for, hey, maybe Wind Marshal Cat if you run 2 damage dealers. Dark Inagami Crow, great damage dealer, probably one of the best damage dealers before you can get Argon, or before Brandia, or even before Narin Ha, if the EU Asia servers ever get them. The more debuffs the enemy has, the more damage he does. He can also apply defense break on his basic attack. Those are some options for some 4-star units. 5-star units if you have built these. Water Desert Queen Bastet, Water Archangel Ariel for your healer, or Water Occult Girl Annabelle for your healer. Water Ifrit Theomars for damage. Water Pioneer Wusa as a healer support. Fire Raven is free from Monster Story and can be used here as well. He will also be good in the next raid Naraka as well. Fire Ifrit Tessarian, great PvP unit, top tier, but also good in PvE. Fire Magic Knight Astar, honestly underrated in my opinion. Fire Polar Queen Brandia. Wind Magic Knight Lupinus. Of course, Wind Vampire Argan. But those are just some examples of natural 5-star units that you can build for this White Shadow Castle. Make sure to check out the guide on how to do it. Don't go in blindly, people are going to be upset that you die. And that's it for today's video. Just wanted to talk about the new content, the new monsters coming out, what monsters to focus on. And hopefully tomorrow we're going to talk about gear. Gear progression for your summoner. Best way to get there early game and going forward. If you like all my videos and like my content, sub, like, ding-a-ding-a-bell. I'll see you in the next one. Peace!